Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. And my question today is, are you paying attention to what you're making it all mean? Because here's the thing, your brain is sabotaging so much of what you actually want faster than you could possibly realize, and you don't even know it. I don't know if you know this about your mind, about your brain, but it is working non-stop through the day to keep you in as much of what is familiar to you as possible. The way that it does this is seeking out evidence of what you have experienced in the past, paid the most attention to in the world, and in your internal story, or even maybe what you talk about most often with your friends and family. It's also framing everything that you see in your reality with this filter of what you've been focusing on and telling yourself and talking about. So even if the thing in front of you is nothing like your past or negative expectations you've had because of things that happened in the past, your brain is going to make you think that it is. It's going to grasp at any evidence that it can find to try and prove to you that it is like the past. If the past has been what you've been focusing on, or if you haven't actually resolved pain around past situations. And your brain does this so quickly, so effectively, and so kind of beautifully convincingly. If it wasn't such a problem, because it's actually keeping you from getting to where you'd like to be. So perhaps you're in a tense moment with a new partner, and in your past, that evolved historically into fights and then a traumatizing breakup that took you years to get past, if you ever actually did. If you haven't been doing work to change this expectation, your brain will see a similar look from a partner, or hear a similar tone of voice, or see a similar behavior in front of you from them, maybe body language, going quiet, getting frustrated. And your brain's going to very quickly make it mean that what happened before is happening all over again, and to run, hide, or fight. It will find this evidence in a split of a second and then unfold this elaborate story in our mind that this is exactly what's going on. And therefore, you drop into what's likely an automatic program of behavior, of deflection, or a mechanism to keep you safe from harm again. Maybe it's disconnecting, maybe it's fighting, maybe it's running away, maybe it's projecting. And this happens so quickly. And so much of the time, people are doing it and realizing that they don't want to be doing it, but it's happening so quickly that they can't stop it. And the sad thing is, if it's a new relationship or a friendship or a situation that's important to you, it's likely that what that person is doing or saying or being is nothing like your past. But you can't learn this and find out that it's actually different if we're letting our mind run on autopilot on this story and this automatic behavior from something that happened in the past, or usually that was programmed in childhood initially. So in the NLP world, we call this a complex equivalent, which essentially means this. Not this means a whole array of possibilities, but this means this. Done, boxed away, brain's done its job for the day. You're safe in the familiar that you've been focusing on or not healing from. It happens in online business as well. For example, I posted about my business and I got no likes or comments, which means it's not worth it. No one's interested. I'm not good enough. I'm just going to quit. Insert the familiar limiting belief that's not been dealt with and changed consciously. And it happens in health and wellness as well. For example, you set your alarm to get up in the morning, to work out, to do things differently, to do your self-care, and your alarm goes off and the mind already has a whole platter to present to you of reasons and excuses why it's important for you to stay in bed, just get a little bit more sleep, 5 more minutes, etc., etc. It happens with money, in the healing world, in every connection we have with other humans. And as Carl Jung famously said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our life and we will call it fate, or as many people end up calling it, just bad luck. No. Your power to have the relationship you want, the money you want, the health you want, and the business you want comes down to your devotion and your choice to challenging and changing what you make things mean. So here's 3 steps to set you up to be able to do this more consciously in your life now. So start by picking an area of your life. For today's experiment and explanation, I'm going to start with romantic relationships. So number 1 is identify what your expectations are. What do you expect relationships to be like? What was modeled to you by your parents? And then by your other experiences in life? What are the beliefs that you might have built about how it's going to go with the person you are with romantically? Do you know your attachment style? Do you know your love languages, your conflict resolution strategy or lack thereof? The things that you're worried about happening again specifically. Identify what your expectations are of relationships. Number 2, get clear on what happened before. Yeah, that painful situation, the thing that happened that didn't work out, whatever that is. And what did you make it mean? Did you make it mean I'm not good enough? Relationships are hopeless. Men and women are just awful. It will never work out for me. And start to write a new story, a new script. Create affirmations, ways to challenge yourself anytime something might be happening in front of you that's making you expect the thing from the past that reinforces maybe an old belief or old story or expectation. And every single time an opportunity like this comes up, choose the new story, the new script, the new meaning, even if it doesn't feel real yet. Number 3, learn a new way of communicating with the relationships that you're in. This is the whole pillar that I dedicated in the Lovely Radical Academy, because when I did years of study around communications in relationships and all the things that don't get taught anywhere except from these incredible experts who have learned the different dynamics that are required between men and women and the different chemicals that are released when we communicate in certain ways, it is fascinating and it will change your life. So learn a new way of communicating with the relationships that you're in. And stay tuned for my next video about communicating between men and women. I'll drop some of that gold for you guys here. Sit down with the person or people in your life that are important and discuss the differences in your expectations on relationships. You may have a totally different expectation that's been modeled to you that you're waiting to happen than the person that you're with. Your attachment styles, your conflict resolution strategy, and if you don't have one, you get to create one together, recognizing how you might have automatically responded to conflict in the past and ask, how could we do this differently when conflict does arise? Decide together how you can support each other in any differences in expectations or strategies, so that either of you don't make the other person's way of doing something mean that the worst is going to happen, or whatever it is that you make things mean that hasn't been working out for your relationships. Let's use another example in the context of business and building a brand. It's the same. Identify the expectations that you have for what the journey is going to be like. Side note, you can never know what the journey is going to be like. It's going to be full of all sorts of things you're not expecting. So that's why it's great for any entrepreneurs starting this journey, on this journey, going to the next level. It's important to know that discomfort and uncertainty gets to become your best friend. But identify the expectations or beliefs that are perhaps against the goal that you have, the outcome that you're heading towards. Identify what you tend to automatically do when things don't go the way you want, so that you can show up differently, because it's probably not going to work. Get clear on what you're automatically making it mean, or the behaviors or stories you drop into when things don't go the way that you might want or think that they should. And can you communicate with yourself, call yourself out, challenge your old behaviors and stories and programs to turn them into the new story, the new meaning? So for example, you put a post up about your business and no one likes it. Old story might be, this is not worth it, I give up. New story is, a bunch of people have seen it. How incredible is that? What an honor it is that I get to share my knowledge with the world. And slowly but surely, people will come to me for more and more and more. Write a new script, create a new story, and implement it every time you get resistance, which is an opportunity to either choose the old behavior of the old self that hasn't been working, or the new one. Those 3 steps put into repetition will start creating new programs in your brain, in your unconscious. Through these 3 steps in repetition, you will start to make the program of things working out, of relationships being better and better instead of whatever happened in the past, of things all being part of the journey to get you to where you desire to be, being perfect, even if they don't feel that way. Which means that it's more familiar, and it becomes more and more familiar, which means it becomes your default in time. So there'll be less sabotage the more you build the new program. You'll also be able to slow down even more in moments of tension and choose the new story, the new expectation, the new behavior of communication. And instead of getting the old results, repeated patterns, you'll get the new ones. And it always helps to have a strong foundation in body and mind and spirit to do this from. If you're sick, if your hormones are all out of whack, if you're freaking out about money every day, it's kind of hard to go a little bit deeper into forming new programs in your neurology. So have your money, your health, your self-love, and your relationships, and of course, business structure in place, simplified, in flow, so that you can have more space to do this practice. That's what the Lovely Radical Academy is. For those who want to break down and simplify the foundation so they can start to have more breakthroughs with changing these programs. And for anyone tuning in right now, I'm opening up an opportunity to do a 12-week trial breakthrough of LRA, which I've never done before. It's normally a 12-month membership only. Spaces in the schedule are limited, so you can DM me the word breakthrough on Instagram or email support@lovelyradical.net to claim your spot. And until next time, thank you for absorbing this important knowledge and doing this transformational work. The ripple effect of you doing so, of choosing to change your programs to better not only your own lives, but the lives of those who come after you and the lives of all those around you. That choice is also rippling through the world. Until next time, thank you.